got a broken wing, needs a little help with most everything. But when he grows up, he'll be a king and won't need to worry at all. His mom and me, we're his family. Normal to us was never gonna be. But tell me what's normal anyway. If you've got the answer, feel free to call. He don't need to fly. That's alright, neither do I. Perfectly beautiful, beautifully perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing. But my baby's broken wing. I'll carry him if he needs me to. Guard him from vultures, won't let them get through. Sing him a song to help him sleep, and I'll never let him fall. He don't need to fly. That's alright, neither do I. Perfectly beautiful, beautifully perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing. But my baby's broken wing. Perfectly beautiful, beautifully perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing. No, I wouldn't change a thing by my baby's broken wing. Broken wing. Ooh.
So that's a song called Broken Wing from Cormac Neeson, who joins us now in the studio. Cormac, how are you, sir?
I'm very well. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Tell us the story behind that song then, Broken Wing.
It's a tribute to my eldest son. I've got two little boys now. The eldest is 4, and when he was first born, he was very premature. He was in hospital for the first 4 months of his life. So I wanted to write a kind of tribute to him, you know. Davok has Down syndrome as well, so I also wanted to, I suppose, write a song that hopefully might get people thinking a bit more about what Downs is, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a very intensely personal song for me, but like I made a conscious decision when I was writing this album that I wasn't gonna hold back, gonna put it all out there. And I mean, I feel like I've had all these experiences, and my family's gone through so much that if I can make a bit of music out of it, then you know, there's something positive has come out of it all, as well as obviously the fact that my son's doing really, really well now. We've had a period of relative calm over the last couple of years, which has been great as well.
Good, yeah. So tell us about the new album then, White Feather, it's called. It's taken some time to kind of get this whole project together, hasn't it?
It has, but most records do take a lot longer than what you first expect. You know, you think you've got, 12, 15 songs, just get them recorded and the record will be out a couple of months later, but that's never the case. So yeah, I mean, I went to Nashville to record this album not far off a year ago now. It was last January. You know, came home with the spine of the record done, but then I needed to take a bit more time back here in Belfast to really finesse the whole thing, add some finishing touches and take a bit of time over the mixing process. So I was lucky enough to get into the studio with a good friend of mine, Dean Stevens. He has a studio out in Hollywood, and he had a lot of patience and a lot of time to get the record just right, and I don't regret. I mean, an album takes as long as it's going to take, and I wasn't going to put it out until I felt it was ready, and thankfully now it's ready.
So how would you describe the sound of this new album then?
It's, I suppose, very different to what people would probably expect from me at this point. Obviously spent many years playing in a rock and roll band. This is a bit more chilled out, kind of Americana, country soul vibe running through it. Still, I'd like to think unmistakably written by my hand, you know. I haven't completely turned my back on who I am or where I've come from creatively, but I think it'll surprise a few people.
Yeah, okay. And what about the whole process of working in Nashville? Did you enjoy that?
Very much so, yeah. Kind of fell in love with that town. I'm sure I'm not the first person to sit in this chair and tell you that, but yeah, went out a couple of years back to do some writing, to like one of these, almost like a songwriting camp type situation, and just met so many great people out there, and felt very relaxed and very at home in that kind of environment, that kind of writing environment, because it's quite different to, you know, with The Answer, we write a lot of the songs would emerge from jams in the room and might take weeks or months to complete, but over there it's a bit more, I don't want to say conveyor belt, at times it can be like that, it can feel like that, but you know, you go into a writing session in the morning and you kind of have to have the song finished by the time you go home that night, and that kind of pressure kind of worked well for me. You know, it brought I suppose a newfound focus to the way I approach songwriting, and I suppose I've continued on with that. I've been back there on a few occasions now, and I've got very involved in the co-writing scene here in Belfast as well. So there's songs on there that I've written with friends of mine from Nashville, friends from here. Some people I've known and worked with in London as well. So there's a nice spread of music and a nice spread of, I suppose, creative input in there.
And you've been testing the music out. I know you've done a couple of gigs in the Duke of York, and you've done some in London and Dublin recently as well, haven't you? Yeah,
I did a couple of weeks back, did a couple of sold out shows here in Belfast, which was fantastic. One in Dublin, one in London. Just to really, I put one of the songs I recorded with you guys, Don't Wait Up, I put it out there to radio just to I suppose begin to get a bit of a buzz going. That'll hopefully feed into the release of the record early in April. So there's another single going out in January, and yeah, it just feels like momentum's starting to build now. It's kind of got to that stage now where I've been sitting on this record for so long. Now it's the really important bit where people get to hear it and get to judge it, and that's a bit nerve-wracking, but like I say, I'm ready for it.
Are you enjoying the solo life now? Because you were in, of course, the band The Answer. You mentioned that. Have you kind of put the rock and roll days behind you now?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think you can tell by the songs in this record that they're deeply personal to me. With The Answer, it's very much a democratic thing. You know, everybody has at sometimes equal amount of input into the songs and into everything we do, and that's one of the great strengths about what The Answer is. But with this album, you know, these songs wouldn't work on an Answer record.
Yeah.
And at the same time, these are songs that I needed to write and I needed to record. So, no, whenever the time's right, we'll be getting back into the studio to make what will be album number 7. But at the moment, I'm very much focused on just seeing this project through, and it'll be interesting to see where it takes me.
Of course, with The Answer as well, you played many big gigs, didn't you, and supported kind of big superstars. Didn't you actually tour with the Rolling Stones?
We did a few shows around Europe with the Stones, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was interesting. Obviously did the big AC/DC World Tour as well. We've been lucky, you know, we've played a lot of big gigs, a lot of big bands. The the Stones were right up there now. You know, we get taken in. I think it was in Belgrade in Serbia. We get taken into their. They have like a travelling backstage area that's exactly the same no matter where they are in the world. You know.
Right.
It's called the Rattlesnake Inn, and we get taken in. We got to meet the band, and Mick Jagger came waltzing in. And he's like, "Oh, a few Scottish lads, are you?" And it's like, "No Irish." He's like, "Oh, it's just a joke." So Mick Jagger kind of was pulling the leg.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, it's taken us. Our music's taken us all around the world. It's still, you know, still maintain our own headline shows are always the highlight amongst it all. You know, we've done a couple of big gigs in the Ulster Hall, for example, and they're the first gigs that I turn to in my memory and in my mind as the major highlights so far, you know, but there's much more to come as well.
One of my big memories will always be the year you guys headlined the Big Buzz Awards in the Whitla Hall. We had you on last on the evening, and really you nearly blew the Whitla Hall to pieces, I think.
Well, obviously that's at the very top of the pile, you know, But yeah, that was a great night. That we were discussing before we went on air how we were sitting at the same table as Timmy Mallet that night. I think at one point he may have fallen off his chair, but maybe that was me. I don't know. It's all a bit hazy. But yeah, it was a good night too.
Looking ahead to next year, obviously the album coming out next year.
Yeah. I feel good moving into 2019. You know, I think it's all set up for a big year, hopefully. There's been a lot of positioning has been going on this year, getting the record finished, and you know, just I suppose forming a bit of a roadmap to get from A to B next year, and we'll get the album out in April, and I think it'll be very busy from pretty much whenever I get back to it in January, getting things set up. I've got a single coming out and stuff, and lots of gigs that are going to need played, and yeah, it's quite an exciting time. I think I genuinely feel I've made a really strong record and one I'm very proud of, and I just really hope that I get the chance. You know, I don't expect to get anything handed to me, but I just want to get the opportunities to get my music out to the people who I know will appreciate it, and take it from there.
Great stuff. You're going to do one more before you go. What are you going to do this time?
Sure, yeah. This is a song, the first release from the record, released it there a few weeks ago. It's called Don't Wait Up.
And is there a story behind this one?
Yeah, it sounds like it's morbid, but it's not meant to be. It's written from the perspective of a dead man, right? But this guy's 6 feet under, cozy, content, happy to not be up above, dealing with the madness that's going on in the world up there. So it's just kind of like a message saying, you know, don't be shedding any tears, don't be worrying about me, I'm fine just where I am.
Okay. We look forward to this. Cormac, good luck with the album, and thank you so much for coming in.
Pleasure, thank you.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Here is Cormac Neeson.
I've been underground for a few years now, sleeping safe and sound while the world goes round. Been enjoying the peace and quiet away from all the